Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will continue with the lecture 3 of this video, of this chapter, diffraction through lens. And if you have seen the previous two videos or the last video, then I think you got the idea that for the concave lens and for the convex lens, what are the three ways the rays can come? The three ways: converging, parallel and diverging. Okay, so we'll take those concepts only to understand today's part. Today's part is focus, which is very important from the exam point of view, because all the diagrams that you will do in the next part, everything is related to focus. Okay, so as I told you, there are two focus, f1 and f2. Now which side will be f1, which side will be f2? To know that or to fix that, we have to follow certain rules. Now for f1, focus 1, the rule states that it is a point on the principal axis. It is a point on the principal axis. It is a point on the principal axis such that the ray of light coming from it, such that the ray of light coming from it, after refraction becomes parallel to the principal axis, becomes parallel to the principal axis. This is what they said. Okay, now this definition, obviously first time when you see the definition, you have you have no idea, or you happen to get confused by looking at the definition. So to make it simpler, we have to follow the diagrammatic way, which I always prefer. Now, so diagrammatic way, let's follow it. Suppose we take a concave lens, convex lens, and this side we take a concave lens. Okay, concave lens. Clear? Now, for second thing is what? We will draw the principal axis. Okay. Now, if you look at this whole definition, after, just see this thing, the important part, after refraction becomes parallel to the principal axis. Just look at this line, and what idea do you get? As they are saying after refraction, that means what? We are talking about the output rays, not the input rays. We are talking about the emergent rays, not the incident rays. So after refraction means the emergent rays. Okay, the emergent rays becomes parallel to the principal axis. So if we talk about this is the emergent ray, and they are saying parallel to the principal axis. Now you can see these rays are parallel to the principal axis. Over here also, these rays are parallel to the principal axis. Clear? Now, just recollect what I have taught you in lecture to the last part. Okay, these rays which are parallel to the principal axis, as you can see, they are the output rays. Now, what can be the input rays? How the input rays are? Okay, to be parallel to the principal axis, these rays must be coming from a certain point, and it should be something like this. Then only it can happen, na? See, these two rays which I have drawn in the blue color, they are the input rays, and how they are diverging. They are diverging, and the function of the convex lens is to converge. We know that. So the function of the convex lens is to converge. So the divergent ray, which you can see in the blue lines, will get converged, but it won't get converged like this. It will become parallel. So parallel rays, if we talk about the input, how the input rays are or the incident rays are like this. They are coming from a particular point, and this particular point is F1. This particular point is F1. Over here, the output rays are parallel to the principal axis. You can see. Now, how does the incident rays are over here? The incident ray won't be like this. Okay, the incident rays are going to be something like this way, something like this way. And if you want to know how this thing happens, please see the previous video, the lecture number 2, the last 10 parts. Just see last 10 minutes, watch that video, and then I will suggest you to come to this part. If you haven't watched, please go visit lecture number 2 and see the last 10 minutes, and then you come. If you have already seen that video, then I think you can easily understand this concept. So rays are coming like this, they are converging. You can see the two blue rays are converging, and if they are converging, after they get refracted, they will become parallel. Okay, they will not get converged, they will not get diverged like this, they will become parallel. Now this is F1. So where is the F1 over here? Consider this rays was passing, so the incident ray was passing normally, then what would have happened? It would have touched this point, this ray. It would have touched this point, and this point is F1. This point is F1. Okay, these are, so if I extend the ray forward, then it comes to a particular point, and that point will be F1, because we are following the definition of F1, which says the rays after refraction becomes parallel to the principal axis. You can see the two rays are parallel to the principal axis. So I hope F1 concept is clear. So for the convex, F1 is this side. For the convex, F2 is on the right hand side, F1 left hand side, and for the concave, it is on the right hand side. I hope this is clear. Now we come to the definition of F2. What is F2? Now F2 says it is a point on the principal axis such that the ray of light incident, such that ray of light incident parallel to the principal axis, after refraction from the lens passes through it. After refraction from the lens passes through it. So this is the definition of F2. Now try to understand this definition with the help of certain diagrammatic diagrams. Again, I will draw a convex lens and a concave lens. Okay, convex and concave. For a convex, it is the function is converging, and for concave, the function is diverging. The function is converging, the function is diverging. We know that part. Okay. Now coming to the definition. The definition is very important. Okay. It is a point on the principal axis. Important thing. The ray of light incident parallel to the principal axis. This is the very important thing. The ray of light is incident parallel to the principal axis. So we are talking about what kind of rays? Not the emergent rays, unlike before. Previously for F1 we have talked about the emergent rays, but right now you can see this word, we are talking about the incident rays. Now, how the incident rays are? Rays are parallel to the principal axis. So this is the incident ray. This is the incident ray. You can see it is parallel to the principal axis. This is the incident ray, and this is the incident ray. You can see it is parallel to the principal axis. Okay, so these two rays are parallel to the principal axis, and after refraction passes through the lens. Now come over here. Very important thing. These rays which are parallel to the principal axis will, after refraction through the lens, will do what? They will converge, which we know the function of the convex lens is to converge. So the rays will get converged to a particular point, and this point becomes F2. Okay, this point becomes F2. Over here, how the rays will refract? These rays will get divergent. So the rays will get diverged. The rays will get diverged. Okay, because the function of the concave lens is to diverge, and if they get diverged, consider these divergent rays are coming from a particular point. These divergent rays are coming from a particular point, and this particular point is considered as F2. So this is F2 on the right hand side for convex and F2 on the left hand side for concave. I hope you understand this F1 and F2 concept. So if I have to draw together where is F1 and F2, I think you can get the idea that so if I talk about the convex and if I talk about the concave, so where is F1, F2? Just now we have discussed. This part becomes F2. Okay, and if this part becomes F2, obviously this one has to be F1, and this concave is just opposite of convex. So if for convex F2 is on the right hand side, then for concave F2 will be on the left hand side, and F2 on the left hand side, correspondingly F1 is on the right hand side. So F1 and F2, where they are lying, it should be very much clear to all of you, because this is the place where students make that mistake and they get the diagrams or the constructions that they will ask in the next part, they got wrong, because F1 and F2 is which side for concave and convex. This is very confusing. So I will just say that if you haven't understood, please watch this part of the video once more and practice that in your paper. Practice that in your paper and open your book and see the definitions of F1, F2. Is what I have just written in the board just few minutes ago, is only written in your book only. Okay, I've just explained it. So hopefully where is F2 and where is F1, this thing doesn't confuses you any further. Okay, now we come to the next part, focal plane. So next part is focal plane. So next part is focal plane. What is focal plane? Consider this as my convex lens. This is F1 and this is F2. So a focal plane is a plane that lies or passes through the focus. So if I talk about this focal plane, you can see this plane passes through F2. This plane passes through F2. So focal plane is a plane passing through the focus. It is a plane that passes through the focus. And understood this definition? Now, what is the importance of focal plane? That might come a question. Okay, focal plane understood. It's a plane that is passing through the focus. But what is the importance of the focal plane? To understand that, we have to take some few more examples and diagrams to make sure. Suppose I take a I take a convex lens. In all the previous diagrams, how the rays were coming? The rays were coming parallel to the principal axis. The rays were coming parallel to the principal axis. But now I will say the rays are not coming parallel to the principal axis. Rather, they are coming slanting to the principal axis. So if I take this as optical center, the rays are coming slanting towards the principal axis. You can see how the rays are coming slanting towards the principal axis, as you can see. Okay, clear? Now, what will the rays will do? Now, talking about the middle ray, this ray happens to pass through the optical center, and we know, we just have learned in the lecture 2, any ray that is passing through the optical center will pass undeviated. So, how this ray will pass? It will pass undeviated without any disturbance, okay? What about this ray? This ray, this will converge. So this ray will converge to a particular point. This ray will converge. Even over here, this ray will converge. Even over here, this ray will converge. Even over here, this ray will converge. Now, at this particular point, all the rays are getting converged. This point is not the focus. This point is not the focus. Focus is over here. Focus is over here, F2. But this point happens to lie on the focal plane. This point lies on the focal plane. So, what I can say, when the rays are incident obliquely, the image is formed on the focal plane, So, if the rays are incident obliquely means slanting, okay? Obliquely, I don't know the spelling, I think this is a OBLIQUELI, yes. If the rays are incident obliquely, then the image is formed on the focal plane. So you can see the image is getting formed on the focal plane, but not on this focus. Previously, when the rays were incident parallel to the principal axis, they are forming at the focus, but now they are forming at the focal plane. Now we talk about the other kind of lens, that is the concave. Now how the concave lens looks like, I think I have drawn many, and I think you can understand. This is the concave lens. Now how the rays are incident over here. See the first ray, it is incident like this, okay, it is incident towards the optical center. Now the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one, okay? These are the 5 rays which are incident towards the concave lens. Now concave lens, what is the function of concave lens? It can diverge. We know it can diverge. So how the rays will diverge? First thing is first, the third ray, as it is passing through the optical center, it will not diverge, it will not converge, it will just pass undeviated, because as I told in VD lecture number 2, any ray passing through the optical center will pass undeviated, okay? So this third ray passes undeviated. What about the first ray? It will diverge. So it will diverge like this way. This ray is also going to diverge. This ray is going to diverge. This ray is also going to diverge. So you can see all the 5 rays are diverging. Okay, if the 5 rays are diverging, then the question comes, then where is the image formed? Over here the image will be formed, but a real image won't be formed. Okay, so the image will form where? Suppose I extend this ray backward, I extend this ray backward, extend this ray backward, extend this ray backward. So this is the way where the this is the point where the you can say the image will form. Now this point is not focus. Focus is over here. This is focus. So the image is not forming at f2, but it is forming on a plane at f2. So the image is not forming at f2, but the image is forming at a plane of f2. So the second focal plane. So this is what the importance is, okay? And this image is a virtual image, okay? This is a real image because it is formed by the actual intersection of rays, and this is a virtual image because it is formed by the rays are extended backwards. This is not formed by the actual intersection of rays. But the important thing is that the importance of focal plane is that when the rays are incident obliquely, this is very important, obliquely, then the image is formed on the focal plane or on the second focal plane. So that is the importance of the focal plane. This is my focal plane over here, okay, and this is the focal plane over here. I think you understood what I'm talking about, the focal plane. So focal plane is clear. Now we have to know few important parts or few important points about the few important points which are very important from the exam's point of view. So right now we know we have how many focal points? There are 2 focal points, okay? There are 2 focal points. So there are 2 focal points, suppose I take this as the lens, there are 2 focal points, f1 and this is f2, and this is the optical center O. OF1, that is the first focal length, is equal to OF2 is equal to the second focal length only when the medium on the either sides are same. Obviously this is made up of glass, we know this lens is made up of glass, but if I talk about this side this medium, suppose if this is air and this is also air, then only this focus length is equal to this focal length, means first focal length is equal to second focal length. So OF1 is equal to F2 when the medium is same on both the sides of the lens, on both the sides of lens. I hope this part is clear to you. Okay, this part is very easy, very clear to you. Second thing, when we say focus, we imply second focus. Second focus means f2. When f2 is very important compared to f1. So when we say focus, we will generally keep in mind that we are talking about the second focus, because there will be certain times when we won't be referring it as second focus. We will be directly talking it as focus. When we will be directly talking as focus, we should keep in mind that we are talking about the second focus, not the first focus. So this part is clear to you. Now the third point. This point is very important. If the lens, suppose you consider, I have to draw a diagram to make you understand, okay? This is a lens which is there in air, and I think you know this is glass. We dip the lens from the air to water. So this is water and this is again glass. What will happen? What will be the difference that we will see? Firstly, the lens will stay lens only. The lens won't become anything else. The thing that we are going to see the difference is in their focal length. Okay. So right now we have to understand it by this way. Okay. There are certain things not written in the book. Refractive index of glass with respect to air is how much? 1.5. And refractive index of glass with respect to water is 1.125. Okay, so as you can see, you can calculate it, okay, by the previous chapter. As you can see, refractive index is decreasing from 1.5, it is becoming 1.25. If refractive index decreases as we dip the lens from the air to water, the refractive index is going to decrease. And if refractive index is going to decrease, focal length is going to increase, because the relationship is focal length is proportional to 1 by refractive index. Okay, so as we know, refractive index is decreasing, because you can see these values and you can get the idea, it is decreasing 1.5 to 1.25. so refractive index is decreasing, and as refractive index is decreasing, the focal length is going to increase. Okay, because they are inverse relation, inverse. So if this side decreases, this side is going to increase. If this is decreasing, this is going to increase. So as we dip in water the focal length is going to increase. So previously, suppose the focal length was only 5 centimeter in air. As we dip in water, the focal length becomes 8 centimeter in water. So focal length will suddenly, you can see focal length is suddenly going to increase as we dip in water. Because of this reason, refractive index decreases, focal length increases. Okay, this part is not given in the book. I have just shared on one extra knowledge. I hope this is clear. Now, the second last thing. If I consider a thick lens, and I consider a thin lens. Okay, thin lens. You can see this is a thick lens and this is a thin lens. Who will have a more focal length? Okay, who will have a more focal length? To know that, we'll complete the diagram. Suppose if we complete the diagram, okay, from here, this is the center of curvature. Now you can see this center of curvature is over here. And if you complete this diagram, this is going to be a bigger sphere, okay? This one is going to be a bigger sphere, and probably somewhere over here is going to be the center of curvature. And this is the center of radius of curvature. Sorry, this is the radius of curvature. Now consider this as the radius of curvature R1 and consider this as the radius of curvature R2. By looking at the figure, you can say what? R1 is lesser than R2. This one is less, this one is more. And if radius of curvature is R1 is less than R2, obviously if we divide the radius of curvature by 2, then we'll get the focal length F1 and F2. So focal length over here will be less and focal length over here will be more. So F focal length is less and focal length is more. So I can say what? A thick lens will have less focus and a thin lens will have more focus. Okay, understood? Thick lens and thin lens, how the focus they are related to each other. And considering this as the last part, okay, if we take a lens, how the rays are coming. Suppose the rays are coming something like this, okay, obliquely. If I say obliquely, we know how the rays will converge at a particular point. The rays will get converged to a particular point, and this point is called the F2. So the image is formed at F2. Suppose consider I happen to cover the upper part of the lens with a green paper over here or a black paper, okay, cover the upper part of the lens. Then what is going to happen? Then it is very much with a common sense you can say the first two rays won't be able to penetrate the lens. The first two lens will be not able to penetrate the lens, and although the image is formed, the image will be only formed by the last two rays, the third ray or fourth ray. So over here the image will be formed, but the image is not formed by all the four rays. So as a result, what will happen? The brightness or the intensity of the image will decrease. So if we cover half the lens, then what happens? Then the intensity or the brightness, okay, the brightness or the sharpness, what you can say, intensity of the image will decrease. That is very easy. The intensity of the image will decrease. So other things, will the focal length change? No, focal length will not change. What about the characteristics? Previously also we are getting a real image, now also we are getting a real image, okay? So it will become a real image only. Only the intensity of the image will decrease. Means previously the image was like this brightness, with this brightness. Now the image has become less brighter, okay? Less brighter, okay? Less brighter. So that will be the difference if I cover the lens with upper part of the lens with a black paper. Other than this, you have the difference of concave and convex, which is very easy to know. The concave lens is going to converge and the convex lens is going to diverge. The concave lens is thicker in the middle and thinner in the periphery. For the other one, it is thicker in the periphery and thinner in the middle. So these definitions and over here we are going to have a real focus, and this is going to have a real image, a real focus. This is going to have a virtual focus. Virtual focus means f2. So these are the difference that you can get in concave and convex, which we can easily understand by reading the book. So this is all we have in the exercise 5A. These 3 lectures, I hope it will be you can understand the concepts of this 5A. So in the next lecture, I will discuss few of the back question answers of 5A that will help you to do the sums. Other than that, in 5A, nothing is there. So just know these things and note down the important points you will get in the PDF form, okay, in your somewhere. So just understand, and if you haven't understood, please watch the video once more. I hope if you watch the video twice, it will be enough to make you understand. So saying that, I will just bid you goodbye, and don't forget to hit the like button if you happen to like the video. And if you have any doubts or you want to say something, whether any problems, you can ask in the comment section also. So just give your feedback whether you like this video or not. Write in the comment section, and take care. Bye.